What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This week we are back, but this time we're in something a little bit different. I got the opportunity to drive the 6.8 Motorsports Midget. Big shout out to Mitch Johnson for letting me drive this fine piece of machinery. It was an absolute blast. I went up to Antioch, and yeah, I don't have much midget experience. I think I've driven one twice at Chili Bowl. And then 2 times at Ventura in 2 different midgets. And this was my first time, I guess, on a bigger track, but it's kind of just a little bit bigger than Ventura. And it felt a little bit bigger than Chili Bowl. The midgets don't really feel fast, but they're unique. And it was definitely a big learning experience. I got to kind of test my adaptability, and I'm very grateful for Mitch and Chase Johnson as well. They were very nice. Chase, actually, I saw him riding around on the racetrack, and he gave me a couple of pointers, and it actually really helped me out a lot. So thank you, Chase, and thank you, Mitch, for helping me out. But hop straight into qualifying. From qualifying to hot laps, I felt like I could drive it harder, so I tried to stand on the gas a little bit more, and then I'm standing on the gas, and it gets the car more bent, kind of like a non-wing car. And right there, it felt pretty good. And then I'm like, okay, well, the car feels really good, so let's sail it off in there a little bit harder. And then I used the brake, and I would just get tight, and it kind of just shoved the nose. And then same thing as for 3 and 4. I would drive it in there really deep, and then I would kind of recall the throttle. And I was driving it like a non-wing 360, I felt like, where I just drive it in there really deep and keep it rotated. And it would either over-rotate or it would kind of push tight. And nothing because of the midget's fault of its own, but because of the adaptability that I had to conquer and just the differences between the midget and everything else. But when I kind of got my bearings under me and I kind of got the feel for it, I felt comfortable enough to kind of tell Mitch what I was feeling. And luckily Chase was right there talking to Mitch, and I kind of just walked him through what was going on. And it was after the heat race, and you can kind of see me do the same thing in the first couple laps of this heat race. Like, I drive it in there, and I'm lifting, I'm getting the nose down, and right here I just get tight because I didn't really want to shove the gap right there and jump instantly up to second. I didn't think that was going to be the move, so I kind of just lifted. I'm kind of out here learning, and I didn't want to just absolutely go for it and junk Mitch's beautiful race car because, yeah, no, I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Maybe next time I feel a lot more comfortable in a midget now. After this, I got a bunch of laps. We got a lot of green flag running, a lot of juiced up laps. I feel like the grease is my freaking kryptonite. I know you guys have heard it, but I freaking hate the grease in a wing car. I hate it in a non-wing car. And guess what? You wouldn't believe it. I freaking hate it in a midget as well. It's just not, I don't like grease. It's just, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I try and haul it off in there really hard in a wing car, in a non-wing car, and then my mind, like, I don't want to zing the motor, I don't want to zing the car, and I want to get it in there really hard. And I either do that or I kind of, lack of a better term, I pussyfoot it. And I feel like that's never fast either. And I don't know if I feel like in the midget there's kind of a happy medium where you can just kind of keep your foot half throttle or just keep your foot in one position. And that's kind of the best way to do it in the grease, is what I've kind of learned, but I'm just still learning. So, and boom, GoPro was absolutely caked. Car was awesome in the heat race. And then for the feature, Mitch tuned it up a little bit. He had an idea, and I was like, yeah, that aligns with my driving style. And these are the most clean laps that I got on the GoPro. And the car felt amazing in the feature, because this was after I talked to Chase and Mitch. And pretty much what Chase was telling me was, with the midget, you kind of have to recall it earlier on the straightaway to get your nose down, but still keep your foot in the throttle and be able to turn. And then once you get it into the corner, apply the pressure back onto the throttle, and it'll actually kind of keep your posture right. Whereas I was driving it in really hard, kind of like a non-wing car, and keeping the thing bent with the throttle, and then I recall in the non-wing. Whereas with the midget, if you do that and you lift, and I kind of usually use the brake to mitigate that bend in the non-wing car or the load in a wing car, if you lift and get on the brake in a midget, you're cooked, dude. You're out to frickin' lunch. There's no sense in saving it. At least that's with the input that I put into a race car. That's kind of the things that I was getting out of the race car. But with that, Chase kind of walked me through what to do and to recall my throttle a little bit earlier, get the car, keep it kind of like a wing car, which was kind of crazy to think about, but he really did a good job at describing it to me. And Mitch as well. They kind of just walked me through how you kind of keep it bent, but you don't really keep it like 410 non-wing bent, and it's a unique driving style, and I'm very grateful I got the opportunity to work with both of them. Chase has had much success in this Mitch Johnson 6'8 midget, and I really don't have much experience in a midget, and I felt like I got to learn from two of really honestly the best to do it in California, and that really gave me a big, it honestly gave me a lot of confidence, and it gave me a lot of comfortability, and I'm really grateful for that because I like midgets. I like driving the 6'8 midget. This thing is a rocket ship, and it was so smooth to drive. It felt like no matter kind of what input I put into it, it honestly felt like a wing car for how little I had to move the steering wheel. And like a non-wing car, you kind of saw on it a little bit, especially if the track's got a little bit of character. You're kind of hustling a non-wing car. And I feel like towards the end of the feature, I understood how it feels like you're hustling the midget, but you're really not hustling the midget. Like, I don't want to say that, because you are hustling it. You are driving it really hard. You're not lifting all the way. But like hustling a wing car, like that feels like you're hustling a race car. Nothing feels like you're hustling a car like muscling around a wing car around like Tulare or Watsonville or a small California bull ring, lifting up the front wheels, just being loaded into the brake, buried into the gas, turning the thing. But as I put this kind of camera view in, because this is when I'm getting tight, but you can just watch how stationary my hands really are. And I feel like after I get entered in, that's kind of when my hands get a little whoop whoop, because of just how I'm driving it. And I was making a lot of mistakes in the early part of the night, and I just didn't know how to drive a midget. And yeah, but like you could just look at on entry how little I am using my hands. And this is after the checkered, and I tried to drive it softer, and it actually worked out a lot better. But you can just see how effortless this thing really is to drive, and just how little I have to move my hands. And here's another little GoPro video. Thank you, Sean, for letting me have your SD card. Hopefully I get another opportunity to drive this thing, because it was so much fun. Maybe if we get a couple more chances in it, we'll get some shirts made, and yeah, sell some shirts on shopcaleb.com. But more, just speaking more to the midget, Mitch's attention to detail. He does all of the bodies on this midget. He, as you guys can see inside of the cockpit, he anodizes everything that the driver touches to his orange. And kind of his orange is like, you see it on his logo on the side for the 6.8. You see it on the 6.8 on the nose and on the tank. Just the amount of detail Mitch puts into mounting the bodies on these things, and just all the little titanium bolts. He does all the extra welding on it, and it's just, I really can appreciate people that put that much effort into a race car and don't necessarily have the funding that like an Outlaw or High Limit team have. He has so much passion and love for this midget, and you can just tell whenever you look up close and personal. I always knew that the 6.8 midgets were unbelievable, but getting the chance to sit in it and just check it out, I get to mount a lot of bodies on my cars, and I get to do a lot of things on my race cars. I'm very hands-on, and I notice things like that. Like I notice all the titanium bolts, and how he takes the time to put all the titanium bolts in the motor plate, and all the titanium bolts that hold on the shocks or shock adjusters, and just all the little things that he welds on to just, he takes the extra step. So thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Chase. Thank you, everyone that helped me this weekend. It was an absolute blast. I can't wait for another opportunity to drive the 6.8. We'll see you guys at Trophy Cup.